We're about to go LL Cool J up in this piece, doing it and doing it and doing it well. All right, now that has to do with what we were talking about before this the episode started. Welcome back to Waking the People with your host, Sir Chad Everett Brochures, and I am joined with the man that Prince would sing about, Joshua the Kraken, your Patriot, McClendon. Now, actually, what I'm working on is I'm trying to build up to that, let's get ready to rumble type thing where the guy gets paid like $1 million at the time he does it or something fucking stupid. I'm trying to work my way up to that.
Michael Buffer is his name. Michael Buffer, that's his name.
Michael Buffer?
Well, is that his name? Bruce, yes, it is. So Bruce Buffer, the announcer for the UFC, is actually his son. So yeah. So let's get ready to rumble. I'm pretty sure is Michael Buffer, and Bruce Buffer is what's his? Oh, it's time. You ever heard that? It's time. Like it's so hilarious.
You gotta coin your own thing, man.
Right?
Push them out of the nest.
Killing it.
Coining it, baby. Yeah.
Anyway, I want to talk about something, Chad, for all our subscribers, our loyal patriots. Thank you for watching another episode of Waking the People. We hit our goal, Chad. So me and you set a goal for the month of April to hit 60 subscribers by the end of the month, and we hit actually 60. I think it was 61 subscribers and we still had, I think, a few hours to go. So we really appreciate it. If you're a new listener and you have not subscribed, please do so. Please share our videos. Please comment. Say anything you want. I don't mind a little bit of clout. So if you don't like me, you do like me, just say whatever you want. I'm not going to hold it against you. But super excited about that, Chad. We got Dogecoin popping off again. It seems to my expense in some ways. We got Bill Gates getting divorced from his longtime marriage. We have Caitlyn Jenner finally voicing her opinion, her opinion about the recent influx of biological trans males competing in female sports. So it's going to be a great show, Chad.
I have a hypothesis to why they're getting divorced. Now they're going to say what they're going to say in the public light, so Melinda and Bill Gates. Couple of interesting things about that situation. I think what she did is she caught him trying to fuck everybody. And I mean, if you're going to get caught screwing around with like the person down the street, it's understandable. And yeah, it could be grounds for divorce. But when you're like that kind of wealthy person and you're out there just really trying to push this agenda to fuck as many people as possible, like you shouldn't eat meat anymore. You should probably switch over to a synthetic beef or just have a vegetarian diet because meat's bad. And then you buy up a bunch of farmland in the United States. What's your reason for that? No reason released just yet, but I can imagine a slow strangling of our meat supply, probably. But we'll see what little I invented the computer, the PC, and it's working so well, and I can make money. And wait, there's something up. We've made a virus, and no, we didn't make it. I'm sorry. I have an antivirus software that you could buy. That stuff, you just don't want it in your computer. It's bad for your computer. It could eat up the gigabytes and stuff, and makes my Microsoft softer. So, yeah, let's give that guy all kinds of opportunities to really run with our health. And if his wife grew a conscience, I can understand why the hell she's getting out of here, getting out of that relationship. So sadly, I think she may end up with half of everything he owns, and then he'll just get it all back like Bezos did within the course of a year. Something like that is insane how fast Bezos got his money back. And she kept her half.
We've talked about before about if we took all the money from the richest people in the world, the Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezos, the Bill Gates, and we put it back into circulation, how long do you actually think till they would get it back? It wouldn't be that long. They would get it back pretty quick. Yeah. But there's a lot of interesting things when it comes to Bill Gates, and it's I'm sure he was really pissed off at the fact that this whole divorce is going down when really he's kind of under the spotlight of the media pretty heavily lately. I think my personal opinion is I think Bill has kind of outreached his spectrum, I guess you could say. Like I know he's probably very, very, very smart, much smarter than myself. And he can probably think a lot of steps ahead. And he probably has a broad knowledge base. But as far as all the things he's recently tried to like dip his toes in, I'm not sure if maybe even he realized the magnitude of what he was doing was what was going to put on his image as a whole. And
Yeah.
this divorce was kind of like the catalyst point. And
I think him putting his toe in something was probably the reason why there's a divorce. But anyway,
could be
yeah,
that could very well be true. And
or
there's
somebody
not,
put their toe in him. Ooh,
right? Could be. We're gonna get
scandalous.
to that, Chad. We're going to get to that. So since we're already on the topic, for all of our Facebook Live viewers, we're going to go ahead and kick this one off. So, you know, they're getting divorced. I think I believe they've been married for 27 years.
Hmm.
For a solid amount of time. And there's a lot of past allegations that haven't necessarily been addressed in the media that I feel should have been addressed in the media. And that's all the connection that Bill Gates had with Jeffrey Epstein. And since this
Hmm.
divorce, we've seen an influx of information as far as the actual connections that were present between Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates. Originally, Bill Gates stated that they had no business relationship together upon Jeffrey Epstein's murder, and and their coming to the public. When in actuality, because of this divorce, a lot of information has been leaking out, and I guess they met multiple times beforehand. Maybe not in a business setting like Bill said, which is a play on words, right? Obviously, we have no business connection, but that doesn't mean you have any connection, right? You're just protecting yourself through your verbiage. But they met multiple times in his New York apartment, which, if you don't know, Jeffrey Epstein had this crazy New York multi-suite freaking pretty much mansion in Manhattan. And a couple times they met with billionaire Ava Anderson Dublin, which I'm not quite sure on who she is. I don't know a lot about her, and her supposedly 14-year-old daughter. So there's some kind of weird innuendos with that. Apparently, Bill and Ava dated previously. So there's some skeletons in the closet, Chad, that may come to fruition pretty soon here for Bill Gates.
Oh yeah, open up that closet, old Bill. Come on, buddy. We know there's going to be more than, what was that, Vesta in the closet?
Right?
Oh wait, we got a new update for y'all. Microsoft XP, Windows XP.
You know what bothers me? That damn, he always got that uniform on. Like, Bill, do you not have like another shirt? Like, I know you're a billionaire. You could afford something better than like this Mr. Rogers vest with like 3 different colored pins in it at all times. You know what I'm talking about? Every time I see him, he's got like this weird outfit on. I'm just like, if I was a billionaire, Bill, that's not what I would choose as my main outfit for every video that I was on.
He's got a house. He's got a closet bigger than my house. And you open up the door and it's like every outfit is exactly the same.
It's stupid. Like, go
He's
get
like, I gotta have 1 billion outfits.
go get something that says Gucci, Bill, and just do your thing. That's all you gotta
Oh,
do.
could you imagine him all hooded up or Gucci'd out?
Yeah,
Dude,
that's what I would do.
1 week
If I
with
was
like
Bill
Paris
Gates.
Hilton. Oh, yeah, I could see him like trading up too and like getting Paris Hilton as like his new girlfriend and, you know, like just whatever. And yeah, just
A little bit of a segue, not to go too segue because we have a bunch of great topics. But what do you think that single Bill is going to be like now? Are there going to be memes all over the place of like Bill's like Tinder account? Like, is she just going to be swarming the Twitter?
Oh, he's gonna get a
algorithm?
makeover. He's gonna get his like eyebrows plucked. He's gonna get. Could you imagine like the metrosexual Bill? Eyebrows are thin, and you know he's got like this cool little mustache and facial hair, and you know he changes his entire outfit out to some other crazy shit. You know, it's like he's wearing skinny jeans and drinking, like carrying around an empty cup of Starbucks or Starbucks.
Just fit in.
Yeah. And like right in front of people, he's like, oh, she's got a nice butt. Swipe. All right.
Right?
Just like a creepy noise, like all the way across the board. I just fucking hate that guy.
He's a
Yeah.
strange guy. He's wanted to do a lot of strange things. Do you remember when he wanted to shoot like dust into the atmosphere
Yeah.
to help fight global warming or something like that?
I think he still has that in the works. Yeah.
Look at you invented this amazing software, which, by the way, I hate to break it to you, Bill, will eventually go extinct, and there'll be a better one that comes out. But that all of a sudden, because you invented this, you want to shoot this rocket into space, and somehow this dust that you're going to be able to create is going to fight global warming, which at best is arguable. It blows my mind that the people in this country, Chad, especially the people that we listen to. Now, I got to admit, Chad, that the last few episodes, I have not been as politically frustrated. You know, Chad and I like to think of our show as a almost like an alternate news network, right? The People's News. But I haven't really been politically charged. And for this week, whatever reason, all this Bill Gates and Epstein it's been pissing me off. It's been pissing me off. And
Understandably.
you know what I mean? It's been pissing me off. And this is what people are listening to. There's a lot of smart people out there, that we can listen to that don't have the same agenda that one of the richest men ever has. Like, you know why people get rich? Most of the time, I was just telling this to my significant other earlier, is that it's not necessarily what they know, but it's what they know how to deliver, I guess you could say. Like that, Bill is a good salesman. That's how he got where he is, and he's not just computer smart. He's everything smart, right? Psychological. Some people are just built different, and I don't necessarily think that it's always in our best interest to have one or a handful of people to decide what's best for everybody else, especially with the current woke culture that we're dealing with.
You know, I'm going to throw a little something out there for everybody.
You like that?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, I'm going to throw a little something out there, though. So, how many people that are watching this have actually typed in Antifa.com? And to see where that takes you, I really encourage you to do it. Just check it out. Go on your browser. You're better to go to DuckDuckGo than Google, because Google is a leftist organization, and they do filter the information that you get from them. So you get you don't get the true algorithm of the what other people are searching. But if you go to DuckDuckGo, they actually do give you that. But if you type it in, you'll be surprised to find out where it takes you. Pretty sure that it will anyway. Have you tried that yet, Joshua?
I have not. I was all I was thinking was Ethereum. That's all I was thinking when you were talking. That's
Yeah.
all Ethereum is. Like, how do we use the internet now? We use the internet. I was just telling my significant other earlier about this too. You go to Google, you go to Bing, you go to all these search engines, and they, whoever pays the most money, whoever is the highest search, is going to be at the top of the list, and that's what the internet is. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's always the most accurate information available. And Ethereum will be the cure to all that. So, not to segue too much, but yes, Chad, I did see what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. So, yeah, I will suggest everybody just type it in your search bar and see where it takes you. Prior to Joe Biden taking the White House, not a segue, the website would actually take you to Joe Biden's campaign. So it doesn't take you there anymore. Give it a minute, take a look. You can stop the video right now, put it on pause, and head over if you're watching the recorded version. But if you're live, don't take too much of your attention away, but because you're probably going to laugh or go, oh my freaking God. So with that, just take a little peekaroo, a little peekapoo, as they like to say it back in the 90s when people were talking about Pokemon. All right.
No, this isn't the only case as far as someone in a political eye, not necessarily a political eye, maybe just the public eye to a very extreme sense, that has misused their platform, especially for their own, in my opinion, personal gains.
Uh-huh.
We've actually had, Chad, someone that we've talked about on the show before that me and you, I believe, both explicitly said that we would vote for had she ran for president. Caitlyn Jenner came out and said that she was actually against the competition of biologically trans males competing in female sports. And that just, I've almost never been more happy as far as a statement I've made, as far as who I would vote for. Chad, look, and you know what? That makes the left, the Democrats, especially like the current Democrats, so upset that
Oh,
it
dude,
makes
have
me
you seen them
makes me
attacking?
laugh.
Oh my God, how bad they're attacking Caitlyn Jenner too. So here it is. Here's the perfect example. Bruce Jenner, before the transition to Caitlyn Jenner, won the Olympics. That is one.
One of the hardest competitions, Chad, in the Olympics. He was the one where they do a javelin throw. Shoot, I gotta look it up. I didn't know we were gonna go get this deep into it. But the competition that Caitlyn Jenner won in the Olympics is probably one of the hardest events you can do in the Olympics.
So Caitlyn Jenner, well, Bruce Jenner won in the Olympics and then later transitioned into Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner is a Republican. Caitlyn Jenner is the best example as to why we should not allow biological males to compete in women's sport, because they have a very unfair advantage against women. Caitlyn Jenner lives in that reality and directly says it. I don't believe that biological males should compete with females in women's sport, whether they're transgender or not. Doesn't support it. So as far as that goes, that's something really to consider, because everybody else sitting back as their armchair philosophies and all the rest of that bullshit backseat quarterbacking nonsense that people do. This is somebody who lives that world. Now, should we give everybody an opportunity to get the scholarship specifically like set up for women? I don't think we should. No, and apparently neither does Caitlyn Jenner. Now, I do want to correct something. As Joshua had said that both of us would vote for Caitlyn Jenner had she actually ran for president. I didn't say that.
For governor of California.
Okay, and yeah, I'd like to see who else is going to run too. So I am one that identity will never touch my table for true assessment of who's going to be good leaders. I do not look at identity. I look for all characteristic values that do not fall into that quicksand nonsense. Joshua doesn't look at the identity either. That's not what I'm saying. For me, I just don't know if I would really vote for Caitlyn Jenner just yet. Although I would say if it's between Gavin Newsom and Caitlyn Jenner, and I lived in California, I definitely would not want Gavin Newsom to get back in or to stay in. I'm sorry, not get back in. He still is in. But I wouldn't want him to stay in. That man is a fucking lunatic. And talking about a grotesque abuse of power. But anyway, all right. Did you get any stats on that?
Yeah. Also, just to add in there, the first thing I said about why I would vote for Caitlyn Jenner if I was a Californian resident was based on the fact that she was Olympian, that she was able to, accomplish one of the hardest feats that every athlete dreams of. And so what she competed was called the decathlon. So it's a 2-day event. So it's the first, it's all, I guess, measured by your completion, your time, your distance. It's a lot of different events. We have a 100-meter run, long jump, shot put, high jump, 400-meter run. That's day one. Day two is 110 meter hurdles, the discus throw, pole vault, javelin throw, and then a 1,500-meter run. So I guess they do all 2 days, either the longest jump, furthest throw, hurdles jumped, meters run. I mean, that's insanity. So you have to be good at not just one motor skill, several motor skills to be even just to be able to compete in the event, let alone be an Olympic champion at it. So that's pretty amazing.
That's extremely impressive overall. but anybody who wins that, that's impressive. So, but anyway, all right. So as far as all that goes, yes, this is somebody who knows what it means to work really hard to accomplish something, and what it takes to actually do to follow through and actually make it a reality. So, all right. I don't have anything else on that subject, to tell you the truth. I'm ready to move on. It's been a bit of a long week, even though this is Wednesday. There's a lot of stuff going on, both in our personal lives as well as in the show's life. So, yeah. So, you have anything else you want to talk about before we move into the next subject?
Not really. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, Chad. It's a great time to be alive. It always is. But after 2020, probably underneath our noses for the last 10 so odd years, this has kind of been a powder keg, I guess you'd say, that has kind of exploded recently in our laps. And I feel like part of it is going to be for good, because a lot of people are going to learn a lot about themselves during times like these. And no matter who you are, you'll be affected somehow because of what we're currently living through. And I don't think that a lot of people really understand that. I mean, for example, let's do a little story time. Actually, so Chad, story. I'm gonna do a little story. Let me do a little story.
Oh, story time with Joshua.
So Chad, it won't be a long one. So Chad told a story last episode, so I'll share a story with you that actually has been brought to my attention by someone else. And it's a story I like to share. So this was probably about a year ago, and me and my significant other were at Disney World, and we were I think we were at Epcot. Yeah, we were at Epcot. We were at Epcot, and it was kind of getting stormy, but we necessarily didn't want to leave Orlando and go back home. We thought we could maybe ride it out. So we went to Disney Springs, which is, if you're not a Floridian, then Disney Springs is kind of like, it's almost like a giant shopping mall. There's all kinds of different stores in there, restaurants. And we were walking around. We got some pizza at this place called Blaze Pizza. If you've never eaten at Blaze Pizza and you're in Disney Springs, please do so. It could be one of the best pizzas I've ever had in the state of Florida, besides one in Tampa, which I'm not going to name. Maybe I'll name it the next episode.
Hungry Howie's? My God, man.
Destroys Hungry Howie's. But so it's raining, it's pouring, Chad, cats and dogs. And we have to find shelter somewhere. So we run into this cigar bar, and it's this random hole in the wall cigar bar. There's a couch that seats, I want to say probably 3 people. And there's 2 old school like armchairs, not recliners, kind of just armchairs. And I don't know if you're a cigar man, Chad. Are you a cigar man? Do you partake? So
no, not anyway.
No,
you can enjoy the hell out of your own cigar, but I ain't smoking that shit.
Yeah, it's so like.
What do we put in that cigar? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So the cigar, like a cigar, it's an experience. And we had one of the most amazing random experience with individuals that I still keep in contact to this day, and it's been like a year and a half. So we get in there, and it's an older gentleman in one chair, another older gentleman in the chair across. It's me, my significant other, and then another individual that I met, and he was in the Army. He's going to nursing school. I think he actually graduated nursing school not too long ago.
Was it Pauly Shore?
No. He still follows me on Instagram. If you can, maybe we'll make that a game. If you can go find out who it is, he's on my Instagram. It's not really hard to find. But anyway, so there was the other 2 older gentlemen. This older gentleman, to cut a long story short, one of the most amazing random interactions of my life that I will always remember, and it made me think how important those random interactions that we have that we don't necessarily plan, how much of a meaningful impact they can have in our lives in the long term. This older individual told me that, mark my words, he said that the commodity prices in the United States come April will start to spike to 5 times the amount they are right now. And I was like, okay, to trade, he was like, if you have money, you need to put it on commodities right now. Again, this is for entrepreneurs only. It's not economical. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you advice. But he told me verbatim, like, what's going to happen. And Chad, tying this whole big story back into what we were talking about is if you start looking at the cost of lumber, if you start looking at the cost of piping, the cost of copper, the cost of metal. I think they 4 times the amount they were last month as far as cost. And if you work in the construction industry, if you work in the service industry, especially in the mechanical industry, we're going to start feeling the bump as far as the increase in prices. It's not going to be good, Chad.
No. Yeah, that's an interesting conversation to foreshadow everything. Now, everybody, here's something that I learned when I was going through my spiritual awakening, if you will. So there was pretty much once I got on my 20s and all through my 30s. Every single person you interact with will have an insight into the world that you don't have. Some of these people will have the kind of skills that give you that kind of forecast, where you, like Joshua was not expecting to run into this guy. Runs into this guy, he meets him for the very first time, and in their conversation, because Joshua was open to the conversation and the gentleman was open with having it, he gave him a prediction. Now, whatever Joshua thought when he left from that, did you find yourself fairly convinced, or you thought it was curious and interesting, or convinced?
I knew it was going to happen. Oh, this dude, just based on the gentleman who was with him, who I actually want to go back. Maybe I'll go back and see if they're still there, because they said they're there every weekend. But he was like, this guy's here all the time. Like, he was like, oh, I'm going to make $100,000 on this investment. And if I did the math based on what he told me, I think he did that ×4. So he's one of those guys, like some guys just get it with investing, economics. They just understand it.
Yeah.
But it was very cool. And the fact, I like what you said, Chad, because a lot of people, they don't like to share that kind of information with others, especially information that could possibly help someone, further themselves in their lives. And yeah, it was cool to have that interaction.
Yeah, that's the thing that I learned, though, is that always be open to it and encourage people to share who they are. But if you come at it with a highly judgmental, negative judgmental position, you're likely not going to get very far in it. So being genuinely curious. So everybody has their own specific attribute no one else shares. It's up to us to be open to understanding what that attribute is, or learning what it is, and potentially like taking something from it in the way that it helps you get closer to your own goal or develop into something that you later are happy that it happened, that kind of thing. So did Joshua know he was going to meet this guy? No. I can look back at every single one of the individuals in my life that were extremely pivotal for me. So go and talk to this guy. This guy has an ability to forecast based off of patterns that he's seen and the data that he's collected, to give him the confidence to put some of his resources into a position that he could potentially make money from it, or make his life easier from it. I can liken this to friends of mine, or just people talking about getting into Dogecoin. So I can't tell you how many people were talking about this particular currency or cryptocurrency whenever it was less than a cent piece. I can tell you now, if you had not gotten involved in it, again, I'm not a financial planner, I'm not a trader, I'm nothing like that. I'm just somebody who's finding out and learning things along the way. And I will say this: don't sit with buyer's remorse. Either get in with what you have that's disposable and see what it turns into. But just imagine this: Ethereum, it started off as less than a penny a stock, right?
I know. Yes.
Do you know what Ethereum is now?
Yes, I do.
Earlier today, when I looked, the last time I looked, it was over $3,300 a share.
I know.
And at one point in time, it was far less than a penny a share. So if you had bought
3,519, it's up 6% since you've been talking, Chad.
God damn. Okay. So here's the thing. There's an interesting thing about what's going on with crypto. And the thing that I suggest with that is, if you got a couple of dollars and you want to find out, one, hold on to whatever you get. In the very beginning, Bitcoin was the same thing. It had no real value. It was a penny thing. It was less than a penny stock. And then it slowly crept up. Now, Bitcoin has been going on now for over 10 years. No, at least over 10 years. I'm not sure when it actually fell into when it was conceived.
It came out in 2009, I believe, is the first date that Bitcoin was released. And
Okay.
before we get too far, Chad, I want everyone to know again that I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. But the big difference between Bitcoin and Dogecoin is that Bitcoin has a limited supply that'll be produced. So in 2040-ish, maybe it's 48 or 49, there will be no more Bitcoin that will ever be produced ever again. Which obviously, if supply goes down, the demand goes up, and it'll increase the value of that currency. Dogecoin has an unlimited amount, so that there's an infinite amount of Dogecoin that can be pushed in the market. So, with that being said, I've gotten a chat. We might as well just get out of the way. I've gotten a lot of Dogecoin. I've gotten a lot of Dogecoin. Yes. I've gotten a lot of Dogecoin clout. People that know me know I'm not a giant fan of Dogecoin from an investor's standpoint. Doesn't mean that I don't, it doesn't mean I don't enjoy when people are making money. But again, we have to realize that there's a difference. I think Chad can agree with this as far as gambling, and there's a difference between investing, right? I want to see an asset that's going to appreciate in value over time. And if you are going to put something in your money in Dogecoin, which, like I said, I'm not telling you to do or not to do, nor should you not or should you, understand that going into it, that it's at your own risk for sure,
Yeah, no, that is one thing. It's like, really watch out for any time somebody tries to give you the get rich quick concepts. Now, if you do get a hold of something like this and decide to throw something in there, hold on to it for a bit.
Heck yeah. Just hold it.
Yeah. Now, I do have a friend of mine that also jumped in. His name's Grant. He'll be joining the show at some point in time, just as a guest speaker here sometime in the near future. But he did throw in there, he said that Bitcoin was 2008 and there's only 21 million Bitcoin. Doge will stop being put out in the year 2100. So that's interesting. Now, here's the thing about it. Like, I was always concerned, like, why would I put money in to transition it into something else or to play this game called stocks? It doesn't make sense. And my concern was more of, if you buy it, how are you going to, if you get some of it, how are you going to use it? And that was my concern immediately in the beginning when I heard about Bitcoin back in 2012, when it was like $20 a stock, something like that. When I was told about it, it was like $20 a stock the very first time. And I turned it down because I didn't see any kind of utility to it. I just saw that as like people are getting together, and I thought there was more hype than it was anything. And it still might be more hype than anything, but it's building a structure under it. And I don't know enough about it to really give too much value to it in that way, or to talk positive or negative about it. But when you do have the ability to use it as a way of like a currency, that's when it starts to become something bigger and better for you. So Doge is now, there's more companies that are starting to accept that as a currency. There is a company in Tampa that recently announced they're going to be accepting Dogecoin as a payment method for their services. There's other places, not that I've ever done this before, but there is a porn star in Australia that also said that she would be accepting Doge as a payment method for what, I don't know, maybe movies, videos, personalized things, stuff like that. I don't know. Not really my area of experience or my forte. So as far as that goes, that's what I look for whenever I'm looking at a crypto, is I do want to see that it's going to have some sort of utility, that it's not just a big hype drive, because I don't want to get involved in anything that's just a hype drive. Now, Doge is building that out. Ethereum has payment systems and structures put in place already as well.
So just to chime in there a little bit, Grant. So the white paper for Bitcoin was released in 2008, but the actual currency was available for purchase in January 3rd of 2009. So the white paper came out in 2008, but the crypto was available for purchase in 2009. And even though there's a cap on as far as how much Dogecoin can be mined between a certain amount of time, the amount of Dogecoin that can be added to the supply is unlimited. So it's it's tough. Like Chad said, I think there is value there. There's definitely value. But as far as how long is this value going to continue, and how many people, like Chad said, are going to go accept it as a currency, and to what that's going to hold as far as a long-term asset, I guess we'll see. It's interesting. It makes me think almost on the daily.
You know, what I think is really fascinating about it is a different perspective of it. So I do want to add something here. So this is coming from, again, from Grant. Now, Grant said that Nissan is accepting it. And he said that Angela White is the porn star, and she pretty much is the one that got it started. And yeah, she is an Australian porn star. And yes, it is unlimited, but if they decide to cap it, yeah, you're not in, then you will lose out. So, and it could very well end up getting capped at a certain point. They may have a number they just haven't exposed to us yet. That's to say at this point in time, we're going to cap it here. Now it's just supply and demand. So they very well may have a growth pattern if you want to see, or a particular quota. Now, what I want to add in is this is a really interesting thing. Also, eBay has said that they are going to start accepting Doge as well. That's a pretty big move. Now, here's the interesting thing on if I offer a product, and let's say Joshua comes along and he says, hey, I'm going to pay with Bitcoin. Well, not Bitcoin, we'll say Doge. Joshua comes along, he says he's going to pay with Doge. I've got this shirt, and I'm going to sell the shirt for $10. If I take $10 in American currency, that's a pretty hard $10. Now, the likelihood that it will depreciate over time, though, if I hold on to that $10 and do nothing with it, because it loses its buying power. Now, here's the way that this stuff has been working with as far as crypto goes. It moves. It's a lot more volatile. And volatile doesn't necessarily mean negative. It just means that it's moving frequently. So with that, like Doge, I looked at Doge back in February at 3 cents a share. It's now at today at the height, it was 68, almost 69 cents a share. So with that, if I were to sell my shirt for $10 to Joshua for $10 in Doge coins, I could potentially appreciate, and I don't mean appreciate, I could accumulate more, if you will. It would appreciate in value. I could end up with, $12 worth of value for selling that shirt at the moment we made that transition, or that transaction, I'm sorry. Because Joshua's $10 to me is $10, but if the stock moves up, I just made $12, maybe $13, $15. If I hold on to it longer and I don't close it out and cash it, then I could ride that thing, and that shirt could end up turning into millions of dollars, depending on what the stock does over time and how long I hold on to it. So to liken this, so if you're a merchant and you have this option, consider that it might be a viable way of just a part of your business, and see how well it does for you over time, and whether or not you want to really pursue taking more of it in instead of other currencies, or continue to take both that plus other currencies. But I would definitely talk to I would talk to a CPA on that personally, to figure out, like, your tax implications and things like that. So I wouldn't just jump on it. I would do a little bit more in what you need to do once you take a transaction. So as far as that goes, here's an interesting little story about Bitcoin.
But before you do that, Chad, I just want those. I agree. So here's the thing about getting paid in cryptocurrency. So let's say you get paid. There's been several people who have been requested to get paid in Bitcoin. Let's say you get paid $50,000 a year, and you get paid $50,000 worth of Bitcoin. So when you get paid that, you have to pay income tax on that Bitcoin that you just received at that $50,000 mark. If Bitcoin drops, once you sell out, you have to then still pay the same amount of income tax that you did when you received that Bitcoin, and you could possibly lose value if you close out and take your money at the appreciated level drops. At the same time, if you accept, let's say, Dogecoin for your income, and then the appreciation goes up, you have to pay income tax on the amount of money that was put into your account as far as Dogecoin revenue. And I believe you also have to pay the capital gains tax that you do as far as the crypto going up. So the federal government does not like crypto at all.
No, they don't. But understandably, because the Federal Reserve is their version, right? What they control. Now,
Mhm.
here's the story I wanted to tell you that. So back when Bitcoin first came around, a gentleman ordered a pizza. Pizza was delivered. He offered to pay for the pizza, or he offered to give the guy 30 Bitcoin for it. Here's the thing. Pizza delivery guy, there's a good chance that he probably really needs that, and or unless he's had a really good week or whatever's going on, or a great day. But if he had taken that and did nothing with the 30 Bitcoin, just held on to it, Bitcoin's valued at what right now? If he had gotten it and forgot about it, 30 Bitcoin for a pizza. No,
It's
you
57,140. Oh shit! It just jumped up. Oh, jumped down. $56,986.77.
okay. What's that times 30?
Oh, a lot, Chad.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
I'm missing first time 30. He's roughly looking at like $1 million, probably
Yeah.
more than $1 million, at least like $1.8 million.
Yes. So if you can imagine
For a
that
pizza.
that merchant exchange could have been $30 turned into, over $1 million had he taken it and did nothing with it, forgot about it, something like that. So do what you want to do with your crypto. We're not giving you advice on it, just giving you some different insights. If you got an extra $5 sitting around and you hear of one that might actually be pretty good, take a look at it. Now, I've got a friend of mine right now that's saying like he threw $5 into a new one, and it gave him, like, I want to say he said 40,000 shares or something like that. I mean, it's insane what you can get. And if you get in that situation and that one in particular takes off on you, next thing you know, you're sitting at if you had bought, like right now, if you had bought, let's say you bought Doge at 3 cents, in the current market right now, you would have almost $3,000 on it. The 26, 27 roughly, for where it's currently at. So just keep it in mind. It's not, again, we're not advising you what to do with your money. We're not giving you like stock tips, anything like that, necessarily. Just saying, just like considerations. And if it works for you, fan-fucking-tastic, go ahead and have yourself a good time with it. But I would not take what next month's bills need in order to try to get rich quick, because that's a bad idea. Don't get into that mentality. It's not a good thing. All right. I don't have anything else on Doge. Although keep watching it. It's a fun ride to watch.
Fun.
All right.
Fun. And just to preface it, Chad, all the clout that I'm getting, y'all just quit. Just stop. Okay. I got other cryptos that are doing just fine. You don't see me out there bitching. Maybe I lost them in a boating accident. I don't know. Just get off my case. Tell him, Chad. I may or may not have Dogecoin. Okay. I may or may not be participating in this event, but just get off my ass. It's Cinco de Mayo. Okay. We're out here. We're having a good time. We got Modelo Especial.
I've seen nothing but empty Modelos, and I know I've heard you opening those things. What are you sneaking those on the side of the camera? You're like, oh, I'm going to get a little quick hit. Now
They're great. By far my favorite Mexican beer. I used to like Corona until I really got into Mexican beer, and I found Modelo, and there's just no going back, Chad. It's not possible.
Yeah. Oh, I've got to actually ignore one of my friends in the chat here, because Grant, you're awesome, bud. I'm not going to blow up Space Moon just yet. By the way, I'm talking about another crypto. Yeah, it's another crypto.
Yeah, actually, I may or may not have Safe Moon too, and quite a bit. So I'm not opposed to the idea.
And then he's saying, fuck no, Modelo is legit. All right, you guys and your fucking beers, man. Look, just stick with the cool, refreshing Yingling Black and Tan. If you don't have hair on them, you'll grow them after this.
Heck yeah.
Tastes like freedom. Tastes like the American flag.
So Chad, Have you personally received any mail lately?
I have.
Most-
What a wonderful way to set this up. So I don't know if the rest of you have gotten an article in mail recently from the White House. Shut up, Grant. I don't like Mitch, my freaking Michelob Ultra. What do I look like? I wear skinny jeans.
He's got a good idea, though.
Get the mail.
Hey, I can't lie. Grant has this drink called the Manmosa, to where you take it's like partially orange juice and it's Michelob Ultra, and you mix them two together. He was right. It's gold. It's not bad. It's really not.
You know what? You guys can have your little like girly guy drinks. I'm gonna stick with my Bloody Marys and eat my way to success because I was a kid that was raised on V8. Okay. All right. So back to, oh my God, how did you know that I had this in front of me, Joshua?
Just a guess, just a hunch. I checked my mailbox not too long ago, and I got this same message, and yeah, it was interesting. What's your take on it, Chad? Did you read the whole thing?
I do have to do this real quick. Brent, great to see you, buddy. Miss you, man. All right, back to it. So I received a letter from the White House. How awesome is this? So, by the way, I'm sitting at work. I have, like, if you set up with the post office, there's some post office that will actually give you a picture of whatever mail you're going to get. So it just like comes through, takes a picture of it, and then it just like uploads it, sends it to your email, and you can see what you're getting. So I look at my mail on a daily basis before it comes to my house, just in case I need to arrange things. So here's what I do. I open up the app, I open up that email, and then I see on it IRS. And immediately I go, oh shit. Because I mean, who doesn't do that whenever they get something from the IRS, right? So the rest of the day, I'm kind of like trying to figure out what the hell is going on and do I need to worry and all the rest of the stuff, right? What do I need to get this thing taken care of, whatever the issue might be? Turns out they sent a letter from the White House. So I'll just read a little bit of this for you. So, all right. My fellow Americans, on March 11th, 2021, I signed into law the American Rescue Plan, a law that will help vaccinate America and deliver immediate economic relief to hundreds of millions of Americans, including you. Oh, so far, not so good. So, a key part of the American Rescue Plan is to direct payments of $1,400 per person for most American households. When you say payments, it is a little deceiving. All right. So with $600 direct payment from December, this brings the total relief payment up to $2,000. This fulfills a promise I made to you and will help get millions of Americans through this crisis. Okay, what about that 25 million that went to Pakistan for gender studies? Not to mention other areas that relief bill sent money out of country to get whitewashed or laundered. But anyway, I digress. So, all right. So far, Joe Biden did not promise that money when President Trump was in office. President Trump was pushing for that. Joe Biden is a fucking liar. I'm sorry, did I say that wrong? No. English is my first language. Joe Biden is a fucking liar. So I digress. I apologize. That's not written on here. I'm actually ad-libbing right now. Okay, so I am pleased to inform you that because of the American Rescue Plan, a direct payment of $1,400 was issued to you by paper check debit card. If you haven't received your payment within 7 days of receiving this letter, please check the status of the payment by visiting the IRS website or calling the IRS phone number listed at the bottom of this letter. All right, so we sent it out March 11th. You're a little late, old man. Little late, okay? So, yeah, I got my check a little later, but I knew people that got theirs almost immediately after it was released, like 3 days after. So anyway, all right. I'm almost done. I promise you. I won't belabor you by listening to me read through this, but I will stop occasionally and point out my points of contention against a lying fucking piece of shit. So, with that, there may be other parts of the American Rescue Plan that will help you as well. For example, there is an aid for small businesses. By the way, there's criteria for that. It is not completely open to anybody with a small business. Look it up. All right. Small businesses, an expanded child tax credit for families, and resources to reopen our schools safely. Oh, which schools are you talking about? What states are you talking about? Who's trying to keep these schools closed? Huh. Okay. The American Rescue Plan also extended unemployment insurance and helps reduce your health care premiums if you have a plan through the Affordable Care Act. Oh, by the way, let's promote the Obamacare, but Biden care is supposedly on its way if it's not already available. It's just another piece of crap like Obamacare, by the way. All right, to learn more, go to type in ANTIFA.com and see where it takes you. All right. When I took office, fucking thief, I promised the American people that help was on the way, as Reagan said. That's the worst thing to ever hear somebody say. The government say help is on the way. All right. American Rescue Plan makes good on that promise. Yeah, sending all kinds of money all over the fucking place. We will pay for it, and so will our children if you have them, if you plan on having them, and quite possibly even their children. So, okay, this bill was passed to provide emergency relief to millions of Americans. I want to be sure you receive all the benefits that you're entitled to. I'm entitled to everything my tax money is going to go to, especially whenever it goes to a stimulus. If that money is going to be something I'm going to have to pay back, I'm entitled to it. So whether you decide that is true or not, you can kiss my happy untanned ass. So that's a Florida promise. All right. This is it. I'm getting down to the bottom. And then there's some scribble down here. Looks like he had his, no. Yeah, I'm not going to say what I think he was doing when he made that signature. This has been a long, hard time for our nation because of you. But I believe brighter days are ahead of us after a lockdown and we completely ruin your economy and make sure that everybody who is, nope, I'm not going to read that, something that's going to be published. So, okay. We are on the path to vaccinating the nation. Yeah, whether you want it or not, they're going to do what they can to make sure you take it. All right. Our economy is on the mend. Actually, our economy is doing fantastic under 45. Oh, yeah, bastard. Okay. And our children will be back in school.
Oh, really?
Yes, they can get their critical race theory education. I truly believe there is nothing we can't do as a nation as long as we bend the knee to China. Your president, Joseph R. Biden Jr. Hunter, smoking crack. No, wait, I'm sorry, I misread that. Parmesan cheese. There you go. That's all I got. But by the way, when you do get a chance, for this letter's sake, take your happy ass over to the old internet search engines, preferably DuckDuckGo, and look up Antifa.com. Look it up. Look it up. Also, if you go to your Facebook, type in, what is it? Yeah, type in Antifa on your Facebook and see where that takes you. Give you a little hint. It lines up with BL, and there's another little acronym. So, all right. That's all I got right now. You have anything else as far as the letter goes, Mr. Joshua?
No, it's funny how late it was. I mean, I got it in the mail, and at first it said the U.S. Treasury on it, and I'm like, oh God, this can't be good. Anytime you get a letter from the government, whether it's the IRS, doesn't matter. I don't care what you say, at least me. I'm like, this can't be good. So I open it up, and it's this stimulus check. At first, I'm like, damn, like, are we getting another one?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Right? I was like, are we getting another one already? Like, damn. they're pumping them out,
Yeah, this is my grandkids' money right here.
right? Yeah, exactly. And then I saw the date, and it was like March 11th, and I was like, oh wow, like all this
I'm
pissing and moaning about some of the mail-in ballot registration changes coming up. Here it is that we can't
We
even
just
get a
get the things
letter
we
out,
really need done first, and then we'll
right?
get back around to I told you I did this for you, you owe me kind of thing.
Pretty much.
So
At
yeah.
least like Trump, I think he re-released the original stimulus letter so that you could have his signature on it. And here it is, like Biden, who I really can't even watch talk, to be honest with you. And he's sending out these letters, and they're like what, like 2 months late or almost 2 months late. It's ridiculous, and
You can't
it's
tell me you're really surprised by that, though. I
no,
mean,
no,
come
not
on.
at all,
You can't
not at
even
all.
finish the sentence without telling you that if, by the way, the most recent press release from Biden was if everybody gets vaccinated, it's not only about the vaccine or about the virus, it's about you can get some of your privileges or some of your freedoms back.
It's bullshit.
Um,
It's bullshit in so many ways, and people don't get that. I was texting Chad about this earlier. Like, if we keep printing all this money out and handing it out to people, ultimately it's gonna like equal up to massive inflation, if not hyperinflation. And this country's never really seen hyperinflation, and I'm really worried that we're heading to that point with the increase in commodity prices, like we talked about previous episode, the increase in lumber cost. Have you seen the increase as far as what it costs for like 200 square foot worth of like plywood? It's almost quadrupled in price in the last month, and we have all these construction industries, and we're working on this, excuse me, infrastructural work, and everything is going up in price, and I'm kind of worried, Chad, about where we're heading as far as economically in our country.
Yeah, well, we are heading down a pretty ugly path, and that's something that we have to do everything we can to try to. We just got to do everything we can to try to fix as much as we can. So, inflation is definitely coming. It's an ugly business that we're about to get into. The thing is that we're so centered. Athena does not like it. Athena does not like inflation either. So, yeah. We need to be careful with what we're about to do, right? We need to be more cautious about the spending. A lot of people look at AOC as an example, or AOS, Alexandria Ocasio-Smollett. If you look at her as an example, she has an economics degree, and she's talking about the United States as if it has unlimited income. Like as if it has unlimited resources, not income, but resources, and saying that everybody can get something for free. Guys, girls, whatever you freaking identify as, look at it this way. Every state is a business. You have to run that state as a business. Governor DeSantis does an awesome job at that. But what we don't look at it as is we don't look at it as if it's a business. So we don't look at it like something that needs to balance a budget, that needs to be able to have income so that it has ability to repair itself and to continue to pay the people that live there across the board. Like there's a lot of things that go into what it takes to run a state. So with that, we're not even educating ourselves in it. We bypass this. And now we have somebody like Alexandria Ocasio-Smollett kicking in there and saying and telling people that, well, no, we can keep this, we have more, we can give more, and the government should pay us more, because she's a democratic socialist. By the way, a democratic socialist is not any different than a socialist. It's just a different term so that you think it's actually more friendly than what happened to Venezuela when they embraced socialism, or what happened to Cuba when it took on communism. By the way, socialism is the ticket that they sell to get you into communism. I got one of my buddies actually just threw it in there right at the last second there too, which is, it's called socialism, 100%. But that's what they're teaching, and there's a lot of kids that are learning that. I was going to talk about the indoctrination of children in our school system, public school systems. And I wanted to talk about that today, but Joshua and I decided not to do that on Facebook Live, and we'll do that on another episode in the future. But just know that we don't have unlimited resources. The resource is what we can do, what we can create. And at this point, we're talking about giving away more than what we're creating. And we have to be able to step up. Son of a bitch. Just like whenever it comes to one of these little pads that keep your phone in place, that actually comes off. But you know what? It was probably made in China because I didn't check that before so we do need to actually understand what's going on. We need to be able to break away from our immediate and urgent needs so we can see what's going on, because the people that are making our future are the ones that are in our government seats right now. You're responsible for making your future, but the people that are going to tax you for your money, they're the ones that are actually lined up in Congress and the Senate. And at this moment, also the shitty administration that we have in place. So, but thanks to my recent malfunction on my phone holder, I'm not going to continue to hold this because, you know, I work for a living and my arm's a little tired. No, but we actually have gone on a bit anyway, and we went on a bit longer than what we anticipated doing here on the show, on Facebook Live for the show. We're going to break away. We're going to finish up the other part of the show. And then you guys, this episode will be published Saturday. So with that, I know I'm cutting that last subject pretty short because there's a lot to talk about there, but I'm cutting it a little bit short because I don't want to hold this any longer. And Joshua and I've got to finish the show before 9 o'clock, and we got a bit more to talk about on the other side. So go to, yeah. Oh man, Brent, you're awesome, dude. Damn, we got to talk more, my man. All right, so with all of that, we're going to switch over. We're going to go back to the show on YouTube. So you can find it on Waking the People on YouTube and Rumble. It's with Joshua and myself. And from there, you know, guys, we're going to publish this one on Saturday, and we'll publish Friday's recording on Sunday. So keep up with that. Subscribe, hit the bell notification. And with that, you know, this is Waking the People with your host, Chad Everett Brochures. And Josh was over there doing the money sign, because apparently he's got himself a little, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, Dogecoin. So, and space the rest of that. But it's Sir Chad Everett Brochures and your co-host, my co-host, your co-host, Joshua, what Prince would sing about, McClendon, your patriot, chugging down the beers, that sangria. No, it's not sangrias. Cervezas.
Cerveza.
There you go. The cerveza. Yeah. Happy Cinco de Mayo. We'll catch you guys over on the other side of the show. See you. Remember, we're in this together. Oh. All right. You cool, badass patriots. Yeah. All right. So now it's time for Uncle Chad's story time, or Sir Uncle Chad's story time. I don't give a shit what you want to call it.
You can tell us, Chad. Last week, we talked about some supernatural events that occurred in your childhood home. This week, I mean, I can only imagine. We've had story times about commodities. We've had story times about ghosts. So I mean, the multitude of stories that we have, it's insane. And I'm really looking forward to this next one.
Yeah. All right. This one's going to be a couple of them because they're fairly short, but they're enough to make you go, what the? So, all right, here's again, just to preface this. I'm not saying supernatural. I'm not saying it was a ghost. I'm not saying any of that. I am saying I cannot explain it. And if you knew me in person and you knew me at that level, you would know that I dig deep to understand things. So with that being said, all right, I'll tell you, so I'll give you three stories, but they're really short ones. All right. So one of them is the middle of the day. My mom was at home. So just to give everybody an idea about the household, I'm one in 6 boys. There were 4 of us that lived in the house at one point in time. Michael is the oldest surviving brother now. He moved out. It was Jason, myself, and my younger brother, Craig. My mom and my oldest brother at the time, which he was my oldest brother altogether. His name is Adam. He had cerebral palsy, so he was bedridden, and he had 24-hour nursing assistants at the house, ventilator, all that stuff. So my mom and the nurse and my brother Adam are at the house, and they're just talking about some stuff or whatever. My mom goes into her bedroom, and her bedroom's on the far end of the house. My brother Adam and the nurse, like his bedroom and where the nurse was at, that was catty corner across from my mom and my father's room. My bedroom was with my younger brother, and we were directly across from my parents. Then there was the bathroom against the wall to the right of it. So it's to give you an idea about the layout. Then the kitchen was off to the other part. So as you walk towards their bedrooms or towards the bedrooms, kitchen was off to the right. It's a big open floor plan there. So my mom leaves my brother Adam's bedroom, walks towards her bedroom. We had one of those old timey clocks, or not clocks, I'm sorry, phones, where you put the little one up against your ear and then you speak into the other thing. So it's like, it's like the big cord, all that shit. If you don't know what that is, look back to like the early 1900 phones. It's like you had the cord handle and you had to hold it up to your ear and talk into the little mic. So that was one we had decoratively in the house, and it was right there at my mom's head level. So it was just about where the bottom of that was about the bottom of her nose. So she steps back. She hears the front door open and close, and she's like, well, who's coming in the house? Craig and I were at school. Jason was at school. I say Craig and I was at school. We do this often because we're so close in age and we went to the same schools. Jason was at school as well. He was in late middle school at the time. I was in elementary and Craig was in elementary. She hears the door open, close. She's like, who the hell is that? She hears footsteps. We had a wooden house with a pier and beam, so you can actually hear people walking easier than you don't hear them as easy on foundation, like concrete foundations. So she hears somebody walk to the corner of the living room, which is directly in her line of sight if the phone wasn't in the way. And as she steps back a little bit, pans her eyes down, she can see a somewhat larger gentleman, belly button down to about his knees. And then that's where the recliner was at. So the arm rest on the recliner. And she can see this guy standing there. And my mom does not move to the side to see his whole body. She just says from where she's standing, she says, what are you doing in my house? Who are you? And the guy stands there. She's like, whoever you are, you need to get out of this house right now. And she's looking at this guy clear as day. She can see belly button down to his knees. She can see he's a heavy set guy. All this, she has no idea who the hell he is. He does not match a description for anybody who lives in the house or even our neighbors. So my mom's like, you need to leave now. She goes to step sideways so she can see more of him as she has the wireless phone in her hand, and he's gone. It's not there. She's scared. The nurse comes out to the doorway of my bedroom, of my brother's bedroom, and says, Loretta, what's going on? My mother's name's Loretta. Loretta, what's going on? And my mom goes, somebody's in the house. And the nurse is like, who's in the house? My mom goes, I don't know. She's like, call the cops. My mom's like, I'm doing it. And then, so she goes, well, where is he? She goes, well, he was right there. I don't know where he went. And then it was like, it's very clear that he didn't go into the kitchen because they would easily see that he went into the kitchen. So my mom thought he retreated back towards the front door. She eventually works up enough nerve to go back up to the front door to go see if somebody was there. And it really wasn't a long time. It was about, I don't know, less than a minute, but it still took some courage to do that. Now, when our front door opened and closed, again, on a pier and beam type foundation or setup, as far as like how the house is suspended from the ground, and the way that our door worked, you would hear it whether you open it, no matter which way you opened it, because of the way that the air in the house would move, and then you could hear things. So she didn't hear anything. The nurse didn't hear anything. The nurse is looking out the front the window that's on the side of my brother's bedroom that looked out to the front yard. No one's there. She's looking there. My mom walks around the living room. No one's there. The door doesn't open, doesn't close again. Nothing. It only opened and closed the first time. That's all she knew. That's all she had. She said, what the hell just happened? So she couldn't explain it, but she knows that things like this has happened in the house before. The nurses would get freaked out. Some of them actually wouldn't come back after their first night because of stuff like this. So that was the end of that story, but it did leave us all going, well, shit, mom finally got to see something more than what we got to see. Again, I don't want to go into that. There's future stories about these. I'll tell you more of these later on. So that's that one. There was another one when we had an air conditioning repairman come to the house, and our air handler was in the attic. So the guy comes in, he asks where the air conditioner is. My mom's on the phone. She's doing some stuff. She goes, oh, it's upstairs. It's up in the attic. She shows him how to get in the attic. You got to go into the laundry room, climb on top of the washer and dryer, and then reach up, unless you had a pretty good size ladder, and then pull yourself up like it's a CrossFit type thing, to get into the attic. So the guy gets up there. He's got all of his stuff. He's looking at the air handler. He's figuring out exactly what he needs to do. He knows that he's going to have to replace the air handler. So he's trying to figure out how he's going to get it out. He's like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do to get this out of the house or out of the attic, because the space where we kept the vent for the filter was directly over my mom. It was in between my bedroom, my mom's bedroom, and the bathroom, because there's like a little corridor there kind of thing. And it was up top. So he's like, well, I can't fit it through there. How am I going to get it out? And he's trying to figure that out. And then he feels something tap him on the back of his left shoulder. And then he hears someone go, get out. And the guy's like, what the hell? And then he turns to look and he's trying to figure out, and he's freaking out. He's like, somebody just touched me and they said in my ear, get out. And he's looking around. He's like, what the? And he's just freaking out. And he's like, that's weird, because you didn't expect anything, nothing, right? And when he turned back to look, the air handler was in the living, well, it was in that area next to my mom's bedroom and the nurse's bed, or my brother Adam's bedroom, my bedroom, the bathroom, and my mom's bedroom. It was right there, kind of like in the way between that and getting into the kitchen. And the guy's like, how the hell did that just happen? So he crawls as fast as he can over back to the laundry room, gets down, he comes over and he goes, ma'am, I need to go. And my mom's like, well, okay, well, what's the next step? And the guy goes, well, I need to get the air handler out of the house, and I need to get the other one installed, but I got to go. And he goes, we're going to have to send somebody else out to install that. Mom's like, what's going on? He goes, is there something going on in this house? My mom goes, she kind of gave a little laugh, and she goes, what are you talking about? And he told her the story, and my mom just laughed again. She gave a little like, yeah, there's some stuff that happens in the house. We're not really, we don't know what it is. Now, my mom's a little bit quicker to it. She's like, yeah, we got a ghost. Now, again, I'm not saying that, but here's the situation. Now, how did this guy get this stuff down? He swore it. The person that came to replace it came in kind of like skeptical about everything. So he did come in, he installed the other one. Everything was good to go. But that just left all of us going, what the freaking hell, right? Again, you guys be the judge. I'm just giving you a story from my childhood. So the last one, this one's even shorter, I promise. When my father sold the house, he had an agreement. Now, my father was in Tallahassee at the time, but I was helping him move the stuff around. This house was in Brooksville. And the realtor is actually the guy that bought the house. He saw it as an investment. So the agreement was we'd get all of my father's stuff off the property, and then the sale would be complete. So I'm over at the house with this guy. His name is Richard. And we're working on like making sure that the house is like, kind of buttoned up. Everything it wasn't the house. My dad had a school bus on the property that was making into a mobile camper type thing. He had a lot of stuff that he was doing that way. So he had all this stuff he was getting done, and we had to get that off the property. So I was helping him get that stuff off and getting it ready to be moved, all this stuff. And Richard goes, Chad, has anything happened in this house? And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Like, we all grew up here. A lot of stuff happened here. Like, we fought in the backyard. I'm thinking maybe he's going to bring up punch into like a hole in the wall or something like that. Or maybe he's talking about what we later came to call Jacob Marley. So I didn't know which one he's talking about, and I kind of wanted to play with him a little bit. I was like, well, what exactly are you talking about, Richard? He goes, well, anything strange happened in this house? I'm like, we're a bunch of boys. You know, yeah, a lot of strange shit happened in that house. We're guys. We do strange shit, you know? And so he goes, well, no, I mean like doors opening and closing, you know, windows rattling, radios turning on, so that kind of stuff, hearing steps going up the stairs. And I'm like, oh, you met Jacob Marley. And he goes, what? Oh, yeah, you know, we named that thing Jacob Marley. I was like, actually, there's probably like maybe three in there because there's like three distinct weird little experiences you'd have with like certain characteristics and all of this. And the guy goes, Richard goes, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like I've heard weird things in the house. I feel weird when I'm in certain rooms at certain times, but not always. But I have heard and I've seen doors close and open and all of that. I'm like, well, he's yours now. I was a bit of a smart ass back then. I think I was like 19 at the time. Yeah. So anyway, I'm not saying it was a ghost. I'm not saying it's haunted. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's just some unexplained things that I don't have the ability to explain at the moment. So with that being said, Richard did end up selling the house to somebody else. They have done some upgrades. It actually looks really nice. But I'm always curious if there's something else there, if some like what other people's experiences have been. But that's all I got. And I Uncle Chad's story time, man. It was that was an interesting experience. It was an interesting childhood. I've got a lot more of those stories. But the most aggressive story or the most impactful one that I had was the one with my bed shaking that I shared in the last episode. So, all right. What's your take, Joshua? What do you think, my man?
So whatever you want to call them, ghosts, entities, doesn't matter. Like I've had my own personal experience with them, and I definitely know that there's something beyond what we conceive as far as humans. I believe that our mind can only comprehend so much, that it is our universe, and that there's a lot of things that we don't necessarily see to the naked eye that are present. So I believe your stories. I do. And I feel like if it's similar to the thought of aliens, that if we think that we are the only thing that can like be conscious and that can, exist in this, I guess what, are we a 3-dimensional world? Technically, I think we are. I think we're a 3-dimensional world, but we live in two-dimensional planes, all that crazy stuff. There's all kinds of ridiculous things that we cannot comprehend with our human minds, no matter how amazing we are. I mean, all the things that humans have been able to accomplish as far as, we're going to the moon again, we're going to Mars. There's all kind of amazing things that we've been able to accomplish in our existence. But yeah, I don't know. You can call them whatever you want, but there's definitely something that is either energy, ghost, whatever you want to say it. I'm completely on board, Chad.
Oh man. Well, like I said, it's just keeping your mind open to it. I do have more of a skeptical background and position than the majority of my family. And again, my younger brother is a part of the Brooksville Pit, which is the Brooksville Paranormal Investigation Team. So they do this stuff all the time. If you're on Facebook, look them up, Brooksville Pit. Brooksville is phonetic, exactly as it sounds, Brooksville. And Pit, P-I-T. So look them up. It's definitely it's entertaining. They're really into it. So, but it gave birth to that. And the other guy is Jesse. He lived down the street, so he had a lot of the experiences with us when we were growing up, and that I think that had a lot of inspiration for them getting started with this. So, but yeah, with that, it's your call. Put down in the comment section what you actually feel that you think that the situation was. If you have any kind of explanations yourself through my horrible storytelling, or if you want to hear more about those, like I said, I grew up in it. I actually lived in that house for at least 20 years. So, no, I want to 19 years. Sorry. So with that, throw it in there. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I like the videos, obviously, when you like them, share them with people, leave, you can use these conversations as conversation starters with people in your life. And let's see what else. Comment what you'd like to see in the future. And if you do want to be able to contact us outside of the comments, you want to have a one-on-one conversation or at least make some suggestions, reach out to us on Joshua. You have the email for that?
Yes, it's wakingthepeoplepodcast@gmail.com. So if you have any questions, any topics you'd like for us to cover, which I'm really hoping we get a little bit more of. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm a little bit more active than Chad is on Instagram. It's Josh McClendon. It's at Josh McClendon. I'm probably going to change it pretty soon to Josh where I need to. But I do a lot of polls. I do a lot of story posts as far as what's going on with the show. We're also on Twitter, which is, again, pretty much I just made my Twitter account our podcast account. It's Joshua McClendon. Just go follow me there. There should be some links on my Instagram for that. So just please support the channel. I love the interaction we're getting on Facebook Live. I can't wait till we can do some YouTube Live. I know we have to have a certain amount of subscribers, a certain amount of views, etc., that can allow us to do live. But just reach out to us, leave comments, leave anything that you think. I don't care if you agree, disagree. That's kind of the beauty of the show. So have a great Wednesday. Happy Cinco de Mayo, even though, Mexican Independence Day is September 16th. But, it is what it is. Just enjoy it. Have some tacos, and we'll see you guys Friday.
Yeah, go appropriate whatever culture you want, because that's what we do as human beings, to show appreciation for other people and other cultures by actually mimicking, not mocking, but taking part of it. So if you do have one of those lovely little SJWs, you just tell them to mind their own goddamn business as you go on about enjoying your life. So with that, enjoy the hell out of Cinco de Mayo if you choose to. Also, if you want to have any other cuisine that's not exactly a white person cuisine, chicken and rice, I don't know, maybe probably get Latin appropriation or some bullshit. Yeah, live your life. And if you have one of those little bastards jump up, just realize that they're far more miserable by far than you are, because they're the ones that are actually trying to make clout by complaining. Enjoy the hell out of your life. Remember, we're all in this together. And with unity, we're actually stronger. But this is real unity, not Biden's concept of I'm going to make everybody else wrong that doesn't agree with me. Illegitimate bastards. So, all right, that's all I got. You guys, gals, you badass patriots. Appreciate you checking in with another episode. Again, my name is Sir Chad Evergrow Shears, and I am with my co-host, the man that Prince would sing about, Joshua, your patriot, my Kraken McClendon. And until next time, we're going to catch you all on the flip side. Enjoy.
Mwah.
Mwah.